welcome back to the Here For It live. We're all over the place. So if you're here, welcome. Thanks for being here. I used to have like a little spiel that I would say, but I don't even know where it is anymore. So I'm just gonna wing it because it's kind of like my thing, right? My name is Catherine Hover. I'm the founder and purveyor of fun at the Palette Community here in Saratoga Springs, and there where Nikita is in Schenectady, New York. And now we have partners all over the country. It's the coolest thing. So the world is open, people are traveling, our members are all over the nation, and they have places all over the country that they can pop into and get the space, the seat, the community that they need to do whatever it is they're doing, right? So I'm here live today with Nikita Hardy. I'm so happy to have her here with me right now because we have so much to unpack. And you know, I don't know about you, Nikita, but the last couple of weeks have been quite stressful with the news and information that is getting thrown our way and all these different kind of like, it just almost feels like an attack because I'm having a hard time just digesting all the information. And what I'm talking about is the Roe versus Wade leak that the Supreme Court just released. And, you know, so it's not into law anymore, but it's not into law yet. But just to have this leak out there, people are just on edge about the just the rights of women, right? And when they're growing babies in their body. So I'm so happy to have you of all people here this week to unpack this with me. And I guarantee anyone listening will leave feeling uplifted, right? And hopeful, because that's what we're all about, and also informed, and maybe leave with a different perspective about what the world is looking like these days. So Nikita, thank you so much for being here.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Catherine.
Yeah, so Nikita is what I like to call a multi-passionate person. You are a mother, you are a partner in life, you are an entrepreneur, doula. You have like multiple roles in politics. So can you kind of like unpack how it is you do all of these things? And you're also pregnant.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to know this is why she's glowing like she is. She is about to have her third child. Do we know what it is going to be?
Another girl. I'm a girl mom.
Yes! Oh
Third girl.
Oh my gosh. Are you, I mean, have you been telling everybody that it's another girl?
I haven't unless they ask. So if someone asks, then I'll, say it. But I'm not like walking around like, hey, I'm a girl mom.
Yeah, well, I can remember when I was pregnant with Zia, who is my third daughter, I got the question like, oh, are you going to try again for a boy? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to try again for a boy. I'm going to have a beautiful little girl, and I'm all about the girl mom life. So anyway, I'm so excited for you to be a third girl mom. It's super fun, and you know, it's an adventure, that's for sure. So, and you're due in like a month. So I thank you for fitting this into your busy schedule.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm really happy to be here today. And, there's so much that's going on right now in the world for women and marginalized genders. And it's just kind of icky. It feels icky.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about this before, but a lot of times people, you know, assume that because, you know, I'm going to just talk from my own experience. People assume that because I have 3 children and I was born in the South and raised in the South, I feel a certain way about some of these things that are just being thrown and tossed all over the place. And I know people want to put you in a box, right? So I wanted to kind of hear from you if you have the same experience. You're like, you have 3 children, so you must be all about, you know, pro-life.
Yeah, absolutely. People would probably assume that, based on me being a professional in different spaces, and being raised Catholic myself, which is a problematic relationship I have, but that's for another day. But yeah, but it's separate because individual choice isn't connected to roles, and this is kind of the issues that we have with this issue in regards to Roe v. Wade, because people are connecting it to not the person to be able to make these individual choices, but these institutions.
Right, right. And the other hang up that I kind of like get, well, there's multiple hang ups that I have with this whole topic, but it's just that there was a law put in place. And so isn't the federal Supreme Court's job now to uphold the precedent? So it can kind of, and then if this is overturned, what next, right? So I think that that's a real fear for a lot of people who are like, oh my gosh, so this is going to mean that they're going to try to take down all these other things that are put in place. And so I think that's a very scary feeling for a mass amount of people to have, and then not be getting the information that they need to unpack it. And then there's such a huge distrust in our government systems. It's just we're being bombarded with so much information, and it's always so divisive. And if you feel this way, then it must be you feel this way. And I think it's frustrating because we're trying to put everyone in these boxes. And as a woman, as a mother, as a business owner, and I consider myself a capitalist. I have all these different types of views, and I'm not in one box. I don't fit in one box. I don't. All my views don't hinge on the other views of. So it's just like one of those things where I feel like we all have to step back and be patient, right? Because like there's still a lot more information that's coming out, and this could go on for, as long as politicians need it to go on to impact our elections. And that's the other part of it too, where it's like, is what is valid and what is not, and when should we get really amped up? And so, yeah, I would love to hear what I'm babbling now, what your thoughts on all this are.
Honestly, I feel like this is all by design. When you think about it, and everything keeps coming back exponentially. We have all these changes that are happening in these systems that were in place that were so tried and true, right? Like, who would have thought that we would be here today? But we are. And so seeing it happen in real life, not knowing where it can go, is scary. Because if something like this does happen, it leaves room for other things. And we already have certain things that in society it's illegal, right? It's something that is just something that you shouldn't do. And it happens, and we fight for it. So when you have something where we do have something in place, and that it's like it questions everything, and then people tend to feel disenfranchised. Like we have no voice. We like why. Then you have people who are asking, well, why vote? And it's like those are really tough questions, and there's no right answer for it, right? Because we don't know what the heck is going on.
Right.
But like what you said, for us to it's a moment for us to pause, really see what's going on, start ask questions, and that's what we need to do at this point, because this is in essence our lives. This is our society. It's something bigger than just the individuals. And this is our future. I don't want my girls going through this at all. I don't want them to fear that they have no autonomy on their own bodies. Our bodies, these are ours. Like, this isn't something to be regulated.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the other thing that I think is important to point out, that most people who have to make this decision are not children. They're grown ass women and their partners if they have one, and it's an emotionally difficult decision to make for the future of your family and your own house and your own life and your own body. And so I think that's a huge thing that I've seen a lot of this, where it's like, it's actually not a lot of, we always think. And I think growing up Catholic, like in organized religion, like Catholic religion, I was taught, right, like, and told it's young girls who are doing this, and they don't have all the information or support to, and of course that was, maybe 25 years ago, and it was a different world back then. So I don't know, for me, I have to think future, right? I have to think about my 3 daughters, and when they grow up, when they are in their 30s, 40s, maybe, like, are they going to have the same rights as me as an individual to make these decisions for themselves? And again, back to like there's so much uncertainty and there's skepticism when it comes to listening to the news publications and politicians talk about all this kind of stuff. What can we do on the local level? I mean, you're so involved in the Schenectady County. I mean, there's like 3 different commissions: Health Committee Chair for the Schenectady County NAACP, Schenectady Coalition for Healthcare Access. I mean, what can we do on the more localized level to have an impact on our own communities and our people who are our neighbors who may be having to, and that's the other thing, like maybe we don't have the same problem as like other states, right? When this is all said and done, New York will still be a really great state to live in for this particular circumstance. We talked about this earlier too, how, you know, we still have a region that is very largely disproportionate when it comes to the healthcare resources.
Yes, yes. Yes, and what I would say to do is to plug in to what's happening locally. So while, you know, there's a big hole to go in when it comes to information on what's going on, but plug into like local organizations. You know, speak to your family and friends. You know, there are means. There are different means to be able to get involved and to get information. You mentioned the Schenectady Coalition for Healthcare Access. Thing that kind of came to fruition with this pending merger with Trinity Health and Ellis Hospital. You have this NAACP that's open for anybody to become, you know, members, so that we can, you know, fight different injustices on the different parts of our lives, including healthcare access. But you have nonprofit, you have government, but start your own group if you need to. If there's a space that you don't see that you may quite be interested in joining, then create your own space, right? We're about creating communities and creating bridges, collaborating. Do that. There's no tried and true way, but you do want to get started because things are happening.
Yeah. Yes, and there's so many different communities and organizations you can get involved in to get started. I know Palette is one of those things. You know, we're always constantly asking our members what they need and what sort of initiatives they want us to support and help out with and get, you know, advocacy for and awareness about. And it's all about collaboration and connection and community here at Palette. I would say like that's how we met, and is that how we met? How did we meet? How did you get involved in Palette? I can't even remember now. I feel like you've been part of my life forever now.
I actually got connected from Palette to shout out to Erin Hunley of Artie Beauty and Wellness. You know, she has her space, her holistic space next door, and she was telling me about this dope co-working space for women that was coming to the community. She knew about my interests, my day job. I work, you know, right down the road, and at that time, it was just right because the pandemic was like hitting. And so I found this space and I just felt like home, really comfortable, and decided to stay. But yeah, it was through a community connection that I found out.
I love it. I love it. And I think that once you open your eyes and you kind of look around for all the support and help and resources, it is there. It is there. And it's sometimes you do have to look for it. You got to reach out, ask for help. And there are people around that want to support you. They want to see you advance. They want things to change for the better and improve and progress. And I think that's one thing that really is on mission at Palette. Everyone that is a member of Palette, everyone that's in our orbit, you know, they want to see happiness, they want to see joy, they want to see positivity and progression. And I think that's what we live and breathe for around here. And speaking of communities, you are a doula. And I think I've been very clear about this. Like, I've never had a doula. I've had 3 children. They were all very unique experiences. I think I got less scared as, you know, the second, the third one, but then there were more unpredictable things that happened that I wasn't prepared for. And that's when if I had a doula, or if you have a doula, that is like a lane that they occupy to help the family and the mother kind of go through this and be a little and feel more
Yeah.
supported. So tell us more about that work, how you got involved in it, and about this community that you're creating for
Yeah.
birth workers. Is that what you call it? Yeah, birth workers.
Yes. Yes, for birth workers. Absolutely. So I started my journey as an advocate in birth justice and lactation advocacy just based on my first two experiences. My two births were very different. I was at different spaces in my life, but my second time around, I had doulas. I had support, and I sought out different resources. I was in a new area. I'm from Brooklyn. I've been in the capital region for 7 years now. So at that time, having a new baby, creating a new community, finding these resources, it was a lot. But it definitely was a different experience than the first time around. When I saw that and I saw how my journey was, I decided to become an advocate in the space. I wanted to get involved and host different events and create awareness around different issues around that. It was in 2020, right before the pandemic hit, that I decided to become a trained doula, an actual trained birth worker, so I can provide support to people on a one-on-one basis and really be able to turn my advocacy into actual skills.
I love it.
So, yeah, so at that point, I became a doula. And one of the biggest rules as a doula, the best way to do the work is to have a community because you can't do this work alone. So I decided to create the Capital Region Doula Collective. It's a community of birth workers that are serving families in the Capital Region, but it's also a community support for birth workers. We provide professional development, mentoring, community, and things of that nature, but also providing support for families who would like to get doulas because we'll have different doulas that are members. There, when I got my doulas at the time when my daughter was born, we didn't have many doulas in the capital region. We definitely didn't have any doulas of color. There were no Black doulas at that time. So as a part of my advocacy and putting things forth in the community, I decided to sponsor a trainer to come up here, and she actually came last summer for the first time. Miss Nakia Lawson, an international doula trainer. And that was great. We have 15 nudes in the community just from that training.
Wow.
So I decided to host it again this year. Yeah. So it's like just creating creating space for people to grow as professionals, creating a resource for families and people who are in need. Because there's a doula for everyone. I may not be someone's doula, but there are other doulas out there that you may gel with. And it's about creating that.
I love that because it's like, it's this awareness about the work that you're doing and how impactful it is and how important it is, and the acknowledgement that you can't do it alone. You can't be everybody's doula in the capital region. And the other part of it too is, and this is what I've learned, we had another member that was a member of Pala that was the doula, and it's emotionally charged work. I mean, you are going to support a woman giving birth through her pregnancy, but actually like at the labor and delivery and the most vulnerable, stressful, just like catalyst of a time that you're like, her life is changing. You're bringing life into the world. Like, what an amazing opportunity to be part of that. But it's also incredibly stressful. I mean, I don't know what other word to say. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. I know enough about myself that I wouldn't be able to do that for somebody else in that moment. I think I would just be so excited to like bring a baby into the world. And it's not, the other part of it is it's not always positive and pleasant, and it can be a medical procedure, so it's just like, I like hats off and high, like everything to you. It takes a very special, emotionally intelligent, person to do this work, and the just the nature of being like, oh, I love doing what I'm doing, and it has created so many things for you, right? It's a side, not necessarily a side hustle, but it's like one of the main things that you do in addition to all these other things, and it's an income stream, and it can potentially change someone's life to get into this business.
It definitely can. So, and then there you have different ways that people do less. So this is my passion work. You know, I'm a full-time professional during the day. I have my day-to-day job that pays my bills, and this is my thing, but you have people who do this full time. And that's with this work, well, however you want it to be is how you can flush things out. So you have people who do this absolutely full time. You have people who do it part-time. You have people who do it just for family and friends. You have people who don't actually do physical hands-on work for clients, but just do education. Because one of the key parts of being a doula is educating your clients, for the clients to be able to make informed choices. So when they're facing these critical situations, they're not going in there, with no information or not knowing what to expect. It's not something that's happening to them. And that's all a part of, being a doula. So, with the training that we're hosting June 18th and 19th, it will allow for anyone to be able to take the training if they want to become a doula, if they've had training before, if they're a medical professional and they want to enhance the support that they're giving to the clients that they serve. We do have implicit bias training, that's a part of that. But it's for anyone, all genders. We have, different, all kind of people.
Different people and all sorts of different people that are going to work with other people, and it's so cool.
Yes.
And oh man, you make me want to have another baby just so I can have a doula.
Yes, definitely. Well, you'll definitely have options.
Yes, and that's what's really cool about this whole, like, the growth of our region is that more and different types of businesses and services are being launched here in the capital region. I mean, I love where we live. I love the opportunity that we get to explore here. And so, tell me more about. You said you're originally from Brooklyn.
Yep.
And why did you move up here?
So I moved up here after grad school. It was just my husband and our one daughter at that time. I had a postgraduate fellowship with the then governor. I have my master's in public administration, so I came up here for that fellowship. And we decided to stay. The cost of living was much cheaper, obviously, than New York City. It's much quieter for us to be able to raise a family, and we decided to stay and create our home. And so that's essentially what I've been doing. You asked me how I'm able to do all that I do. Everything that I do is connected to home. This is my home. This is my community. I'm about, giving what I can, growing, and in different spaces. Like as time goes on, I meet so many different people. I'm really happy to have, discovered the Palace space, met you, Catherine, learn more about y'all as individuals. And but yeah, Capital Region is now home.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel the same way. And I just think, like, we're so lucky to have you here. I'm so lucky to have connected with you and gotten to know you more, and just it being part of what you're doing. I say this all the time, that there are people who are members of Palette doing work that I'm never going to get to do. This is one of them. I'm not going to be a doula. That's not what my path is. But by knowing you being part of this community, I get to have my hands in that, and in that experience, and that shared experience. Like, it opens a whole new window of opportunity and perspective into my life, and I'm the better for it. It's just like we all benefit from having a diverse background and diverse network of people around us, different walks of life, different experiences, different just levels of advancement. I'm able to do what I'm doing, and like, you make that possible for me, and I appreciate you so much. And just like the impacts that you've made on your community, and you're not from here. I feel like that I think that's a whole nother program, right? Where it's like, let's talk about everybody that's not from here that has moved here and made such an enormous impact. I mean, so you're like, if you add another 15 doulas in the Schenectady community or in the capital region as a whole every year, I mean, think about the amount of impact that makes, and to also be opening up this community to birth worker. So that, maybe you're not a doula. Maybe you're a nurse. Maybe you're a labor
Yeah.
delivery nurse that's, didn't get this kind of
Yes.
education in school, and it'll make you a better, nurse and better supported, right? Because I mean, again, it's just like it's a
Yes.
stressful job in all aspects of bringing life into the world. It's a lot of responsibility and a lot of weight on a person, and you do need a support system. You need help around you to make it the best experience possible. Like, can we just stop having bad birth experiences? Like, that's a thing. We can
Yes.
make that happen.
Yes. Let's normalize empowered, good birth experiences.
Absolutely. Well, that, my friend, is a great stopping point. I appreciate you being here. So June 18th is this training, this doula training. And I think even if you don't want to be a doula and you're just interested in learning more about what it all entails, just show up at Palette. It's like the coolest. I'm not saying this because it's a space that I founded and created. I didn't do it alone. The space is a community hub for all of these different types of people. And we're so welcoming and inviting. And it's a great place to be in even when you don't know what you're doing, which is half of us.
Yes.
So thank you
Yes.
so much. And where can they learn more information, or where they can find, how do they RSVP, or do they just show up on June 18th?
Oh no. So you could register at capitalregiondoulacollective.com.
I'm going to type it in the comments. Capital Region
doulacollective.com.
doulacollective.com.
So all the information is there. The training is June 18th and 19th. And you're able to register. And with the training, you also get 3 bonus classes, y'all. 3 bonus classes. So community childbirth education, community lactation education, and a business masterclass. So definitely, if you're interested, it's a big deal.
Awesome. I'm so excited for you. I'm so honored that you've chosen Palette as like this hub for you to do all these amazing things. You've like added so much value to my life and this community, and we're so grateful. If I don't see you before June 13th, I hope you're not going to have a baby at this event, June 18th. That would be a good training. Right now, we are going to give.
That'll be real hands-on. See, there's already hands-on, but that'll be real hands-on.
I know. Listen, we've had weddings, we've had divorces. Might as well have a baby at Palette.
Right, Palette birth. There we go.
I love it. I love it. I love you. Thank you so much, and I will see you very soon.